I'm pretty bored, so I decided to go ahead and kit up the cottage because I am in a weird in-between spot of waiting on my dryer to finish, but it not being close enough to dinner time to actually start anything. Because we're having a pretty simple thing tonight, so it's not going to take long to do. So I figured I'd go ahead and kit up the cottage. Uh, like sunflowers, I already did the stickers for these because I didn't see a reason to not. If I can go ahead and pre-do things before I record, then I try to, so that nothing's, uh, so I can ease the process a little bit for myself. So we will need the funnel again. Okay, and we're going to use this. Okay. Because first, we're going to go through and put the stickers on, and then after that, we will start putting them in their jars. Yeah. Well, I don't really need the bucket for that. I can just do that here. Just put that up. This can stay closed for now. But, yeah, I didn't see a reason to wait to kit up. Admittedly, I go through diamond paintings really fast because I love working on them, and admittedly, I stay home the entire time, so I mean, why not? But after I do the cottage, I'll do the sewing machine one. And then if I haven't gotten anything new by the time I do that one, I'll do the two that I really need to work on. Admittedly, it takes me a minute to actually... For some paintings, for some reason, if I know it's going to be a little tedious and I don't care for it as much as other ones, then it'll take me longer to do. Or I'll just get burnt out on it or something. And sometimes it's just a seasonal one, so it feels kind of weird to work on it outside the season. Like, I have a Christmas one that I need to finish, but I don't really feel like working on it because it's February. So why would I work on a Christmas picture when it's almost spring? Hence why I'm working on these ones that are covered in flowers. Excuse me, covered in flowers and just, you know, very spring-like. And like there's some where I'll work on them out of season. Like Halloween, I'll work on those any day of the week. But that's because to me, Halloween is year round. But I just have a hard time working on like Christmas ones out of season. But that's just a personal problem, to be honest. I've seen a lot of people work on them, like when it's not like approaching Christmas or like after Thanksgiving and stuff like that, but I don't know. I suppose something I could do is if I don't feel like recording, I could work on them and just have them as like little side project ones for myself, but I don't know. I'll figure it out eventually. Because no matter what, I always get them done. It's just sometimes it's harder to work on some compared to others. That is also just a me thing, I think. Well, not quite. I got my friend a Diamond Art Club painting for her birthday slash Yule, but she hasn't started on it yet because it is her first Diamond Art Club painting, and it's a square, and it will only be the second square diamond painting she's worked on. Which, I mean, fair. The only reason I worked on mine so fast is because I had waited so long to work on them, and I already knew what I was getting myself into. And while they are the biggest ones I've worked on, I still worked on really big pictures by the time I started on mine. And I was already 2 to 3 years deep on diamond paintings, I think. And while she started relatively close to when I started, it's still a bit daunting if you don't, like, mentally prepare yourself for it. And I did not mentally prepare her for it. She didn't know what she was getting until, like, that month. And even then, she didn't know what picture it was, simply because I wanted her to have some sort of element of surprise to her picture. But I still wanted to let her know I got her one, if that makes sense. I'm horrible at keeping things secret because I'm not keeping things secret. I'm horrible at keeping presents a surprise because I really, really, really want to tell the person what I got them, especially if I talk to them very often. It's a bad habit of mine. Okay. So begins the process. I need my scissors. Where are my scissors? Should be right here. Perfect. These are just a pair of, I think they're technically supposed to be scissors for crickets and stuff. However, I just got them at Dollar General for $3. I mean, it seemed like a pretty good deal to me. Okay, why would they do this? Okay, whatever. Doesn't look like I have any. Oh, there's 2 of that one. And that. Okay, so it looks like I have doubles of some of the greens. Okay, let me get to the first. There they are. Okay. 6 across. First 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I cut them in sections of about what the first row is, basically, so if I go across and it's 6 jars in the case, then I'll do 6 of the colors. Basically just do it in the sections of how I'm going to pour them, essentially. Is that perfect? No, because again, there's always double bags, but this way they're like somewhat in order. 19 through 24? I think so. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 24. There. Perfect. Put those right there. These guys will go right there. I'm pretty sure. Okay. With some of the canvases, like from Hobby Lobby, what I prefer to do is take a picture of the legend, simply because they'll put the legend on the pre-stretch ones. They'll usually put the legend on the back. Sometimes they'll have like a little printed slip for you, but most of the time they just put it on the back. So I tend to take pictures of it so I can work on it without having to flip it back and forth. I could have swore I took a picture, but I might not have. Looks like I didn't, so let me do that real quick. But that way I can work on it and not have to flip it 500,000 times. Which actually, admittedly, I do need to print that now that I think about it. Because now I can just print it and stick it on something. Because I actually know how to use our printer now. And also helps me to make sure that all of them are in order. Because sometimes, not very often, but sometimes, they'll have it to where the colors aren't like exactly in order. And they'll kind of just do whatever they want, which is what they did on the sunflower one. I thought I had opened. Just turn off. Okay. That's what they did on the sunflower one. Is they had the colors, like the DMC colors, like all out of order. So that one was a little finicky at times, especially when I was putting them up. That's why I went ahead and pulled all of the jars for the kit down out beforehand, because I knew they had it out of order. But that's neither here nor there. Anyways, yeah, that's what I'll do is, if the legend's on the back, then I'll take a picture of it. And now that I have access to a printer, I can just print out the legend too, so I can like hang it on something, I suppose. The first color for one is 209. It's this very pretty light purple. There's not very many of it. It looks like it's mainly just to like be flowers. Looks like I did not write the symbols for this one on these jars. That's fine. That's why I have the legend. That's why, because it's a lot of different shapes. Usually I'll try and write the symbol with the DMC code so I can read it slightly easier. But if the codes are just a tad too advanced, I guess, difficult to draw for me, then I'll just not. It looks like I could draw them, I think. Actually, yeah, I could. So, I might end up doing that in a bit. But for now, let's just kit everything up and get it in drawers. We can do that later. So I don't have to maybe look at the legend as much. Maybe if I've like did it a little crooked or something, but hopefully then I won't have to look at it as much. Because it is a bit of a pain to do. But again, that's why I want to be able to print my own stickers for stuff like this. So that way I don't have to worry about it and I can just print it. I would try and do it similar to how Diamond Art Club does their things, where it's the DMC and the symbol. I'm not really going to worry about like the number of the color, just the DMC. Because, you know, it's personal, so I wouldn't really have to worry about that. Gotta make sure to push your jar all the way back in the funnel, or you will have a couple slipped past. I still forget to do that a lot. I just did this one. Yeah, I did. It looks like I missed one, so that needs to go in there. But while the cottage is pretty confetti heavy, I am still really excited to do it because it's very pretty. I'm not usually one for confetti heavy pictures. I do like a bit of color blocking. Like, of course I love some confetti, but like, if I can, I like it where it's pretty even, I guess. Where there's a decent amount of color blocking, but there's, you know, a decent amount of confetti, so it's not just too plain, I suppose. But the ones where it's an unholy amount of confetti, I hate, because then it feels like you are changing colors every 2 seconds, which can be a bit overwhelming. in my opinion at least. But, yeah. Admittedly, whenever I finally get some of the, cat ear trays, where it's just a little closable one, it'll be slightly easier, I think. If I actually enjoy using them. That's why I don't have them yet, is because I don't know, because I do enjoy the little jars. I just don't like the idea of leaving my colors in their tray. But anything's worth a shot if it eases the process sometimes, especially for the colors where you only use it like every so often, so there's very little of it. But it like gets dotted in like 1 or 2 times per section you do. Then it would make sense to have it, I suppose. Or if you're using like the special drills. Because there's some where you only have so little of a color, but you still dot it in pretty consistently, that it just becomes a bit tedious to pour it in and out of the jar. Because then you're fighting to get it back out of the tray sometimes. That's how I feel, at least. I don't know. I'm finding that while it can technically be a not cheap hobby, but like not too, it can be inexpensive at times. Sometimes just the desire for more and fancier tools and organization things can really be what gets you. And of course the diamond paintings themselves. Sometimes, yeah, you can just get away with getting some of the cheaper kits, like the ones at Michael's or Hobby Lobby and stuff like that. But when you get a taste of those really nice ones from the good companies, it's very hard to go back. Which is something I am struggling with. Is I do not have consistent Diamond Art Club money, but oh, were they pretty. That is the color I just did. That's another reason why I do it in the sections of, per row, basically. Is if I just count how many bags I have left, I can just grab the jar if I forgot what I'm on. Because sometimes the companies will put the DMC code on the bag itself, and other times they'll just do what color it's going to be that time. Like this one just says 11. And there is no DMC 11. So sometimes I forget. A lot of times I forget. Where did that land? Okay, that's fine. And like, I do have a light board, but that's admittedly, until I get through these canvases from Hobby Lobby, you're not going to see very often. As these are the ones, again, they are pre-stretched on a canvas, and they have cardboard underneath them so that they're solid, so when you work on it, it doesn't like go through the frame, basically. So admittedly, you can't really use a light board with these because there's cardboard underneath. There are a couple more I'm considering getting from Hobby Lobby. Like, there was this playing card one, I believe, that had like a lot of the AB drills for the background. I've been thinking about that one. That it's if I can figure out how to multi-place on it without wiping off the AB drills, which I think I can. I think. So I might get it, admittedly. But that is also because I am a huge Alice in Wonderland fan. Mainly because I grew up with it, but I am. But I don't know. There's a few I've considered getting. Considering getting from there. I just really want that bookshelf one, but because it went viral on TikTok, Now everyone is getting it, and it is impossible to find. Is it wrong to gatekeep a hobby? Yes, absolutely. So I kinda wish we would sometimes, a little bit. But because we aren't, it is also making it easier to find supplies at more places and not just at all the craft stores. Like, you can actually find washi tape at the dollar store now, which is very helpful. And it's actually a decently thick roll. I haven't had to buy any in a really long time because I got one of those. The first time I ordered from Diamond Art Club, I got one of their mystery boxes of washi tape, so I haven't really needed any in a very long time. I'm still working through all the rolls, and I got that tape a year ago, I believe. Yeah, got it a year ago. Because I bought it last January, I believe. Pretty sure. Admittedly, I do want to get some of the mystery cover minders, maybe. Maybe. I don't really need them, but I kind of want them. Because I already have cover minders. I have 2. I originally had a crescent moon shaped one from Pure Bliss Wax Co. But it got broken whenever my stuff got knocked over, and it fell and broke. But somewhat recently, like December, I believe, I figured out how to make well, I didn't really figure out how to make it because it's pretty easy. It's just magnets, super glue, and a tiny little doodad trinket thing. But I figured out that I could use the little Squishmallow Squish-Along ones, the little Squishmallow Squish-Alongs, to make them. So I just got some magnets off of Walmart.com, ordered me a Squish-Along thing. Well, actually, I already had some because I like them. But I took some of my Squish-Alongs and I got some magnets off Walmart, just little button magnets, and some super glue that I had floating around my house. Took me a minute to find because it always disappears. And just made me a couple. I made me one out of the little Slytherin mascot and his little Slytherin robes because he's adorable and I am a Slytherin. And then I made one out of, this was my tester actually, to make sure it would work before I hunted down the Slytherin one that I wanted. But I made one out of the little mushroom guy. And then we also made made some with my friend so that she would have one whenever she did work on hers from Diamond Art Club, so that she could have something for it. Because yeah, the plastic's in sections, but you still kind of need it because for the squares, you have to take breaks in between when you work on a section. You have to. Some people can just power through it, but I cannot. My spine hates me, and if I sit there that long through an entire section, my neck and my spine will despise me. So it's best for me to move around a little bit. And I also have cats, as we have also clearly seen. So it is best for me to be able to just fold the piece of plastic back over. Because you could just go ahead and tear it off, because most of them are perforated, but I prefer to wait until I've, like, done the whole section before I do that. I usually try to tear it off in like 3 perforated things, like 3 lengths of the perforated squares, because that's honestly about the length of this canvas, if not a little shorter. So that way, I'm not having a bajillion sheets of plastic just floating throughout my little work area. So if I just do it in 3 section chunks, it is slightly more manageable to keep up with. Slightly. Okay, we are finally getting to some of the double bags. This row? Yeah, this row. There we go. And admittedly, they're cute. How can you not just want a little mascot to sit there and look like they're cheering you on while you're working on it? For hers, I believe we found the Gryffindor squish-alongs. Yeah. The Gryffindor squish-alongs, and then she took one of her mini rubber ducks. One of the little mini plastic ones that people like to hide around places. And she turned those 2 into cover minders. Please tell me that it didn't spill. Oh, it did. Lovely. This is another reason why you keep drills. Why I do, at least. When you do an oopsie and drop your drills. Okay. Let's see if I can get it a little more focused on my shirt. Thankfully, I'm wearing a very baggy shirt, so most of them fell onto my shirt. I think. Looks like a few hit the floor. In a moment, after I pick up what I can, we'll pour them into the jar. And make a note of what color that was so I can pull out my extras and hope and pray I have that color in my extras. Because admittedly, Hobby Lobby's diamond paintings are a teensy bit more stingy about extra drills. Like, just enough, maybe a teensy bit extra. So, we will hope I have this color. That's why I'm slightly glad I have a drawer right here, because most of them just landed on my little slide out that's supposed to be for a mouse and keyboard. And this is also why I want to get a little mini desk vacuum to vacuum these things up when I drop them. Would it be tedious to pick through all the colors I've already dropped before? Yes. But I'd be willing to do it. Okay. I need a tray. Grab the butterfly. Sorry, my headphones disconnected for a second. Admittedly, I think I might need to charge these soon, so I should, after I finish this video, I am going to charge them. Did not know I had a hole in my shirt. Alright, we lost a couple because of the hole in the shirt. But we saved a good bit. But we are still going to make a note of this color and pull out the spares. Because while there wasn't a whole lot in the bag in the first place, I still want to make sure I have plenty. Because running out and not having enough is a nightmare. Admittedly, again, because diamond painting is becoming a more common hobby, people are actually, set this one right here for now. It's actually starting to become easier to find drills, like, in store. Like, Hobby Lobby has this little bucket thing. Yeah, a little bucket full, where it's a box of tubes of the colors, and it's all AB drills. I've been thinking about getting it, because, admittedly, doing my little sticker with all the AB drills was actually pretty fun. Well, of course it was fun. They're shiny. But being able to personalize things like that was actually pretty fun. I don't know if I'll ever get into the whole rhinestoning thing where you have to apply the glue and then do it. Because I'm pretty clumsy, as we have just seen. And I don't think me directly applying the glue myself is a very good idea. Like, at all. But, like, the stickers and if I can ever figure out how to, like, print a picture, I guess. Maybe. If they have it where you can, like, print canvases or something. Because I don't think I'd be able to freestyle one, as I have a hard time picturing images in my head, like, fully. I can manage, like, a partial image, but it looks very 2D and flat. So. But being able to personalize it was pretty fun, and maybe at some point I could, like, do a full AB canvas or something. Like, just switch out all the colors for AB colors. Because I've seen some people do that with crystal drills, but personally, I don't like the look of full crystal. Like, it works with some pictures if it's, like, an ocean or something, but, like, people and scenes as crystal ones don't really work, in my opinion. Maybe if it, like, is light refracting, or the background scene is, like, a stained glass window, that would be perfect. But, I don't know. Maybe I just haven't seen it, like, done in a way I like. Maybe. Okay. But we are almost done with this. And then after we do this, or finish kitting up, throw away the trash, and then look at my extras to see if I have any extras of that color. Well, you can clearly see which two are the ones that are supposed to glow in the dark. I have noticed that they do actually technically glow in the dark, but it's that type of glow in the dark where you have to, like, charge it with light. And I don't know about anyone else, but I don't really hold my pictures up to the light very often. Like, yeah, sure, they're in a room, but I don't put them, like, directly on a light on purpose. Maybe if I had, like, a black light above it or something, so it could, like, charge it itself, I suppose. But that would require me getting a black light. And admittedly, it's been a very long time since I've seen those, like, black light bars, basically, that are supposed to, like, go over your posters. It's been a while since I've seen one of those. Like, early 2000s. I think I was, like, 8 the last time I saw one. And even then, I'm pretty sure they had that for a while, so there's no telling. Like, I'm sure you can actually just order one offline and all that, but, like, you'd have to search for it. I don't know. Alright, we are on the last actual color, which is 28. It's a darker purple than the first color we started with. It's 38, 35. And then up next is the glow-in-the-dark drills, which don't have a DMC code technically. Not as far as I'm aware. For the most part, if it's a weird stone like that, or the crystal ones, and I can't tell if they used an actual DMC code for it, half the time they'll just end up in my jar that's for special drills. That's my leftover jar, essentially. So far, the only company I've seen actually make it to where you can clearly tell what their special drills are is Diamond Art Club. But they're also the only good company I've bought from so far. I want to buy from others, but I just haven't yet because I'm nervous to. Which is slightly silly, but, you know. Just want to make sure I don't waste money and get ripped off, essentially. And here we go. Last one. Which is an orange glow in the dark, while the other one was yellow. What is that a purple square? How on earth? Almost positive I've used these containers pretty recent. Oh, that's why. Okay. I see what you are. Nope, that is a fairy dust drill. How on earth did you get in here? Interesting. Well, free random fairy dust drill. Not entirely sure how that came to be, but we have one. Not doing a very good job of getting it in frame, mainly because this camera refuses to focus on it. But yeah. Free random fairy dust. So that's something interesting. Guess it'll go in the special jar, because I can't really do anything with you. Interesting. I mean, that's happened every now and then, but never with a fairy dust drill. I wonder if that means this company... I need to find out what company does these. So that means they do squares with fairy dust, whoever they are. I've only ever seen rounds from the spring shop. Interesting. Well, glow-in-the-dark stones with a bonus fairy dust drill. Fairy dust is basically just like one of the drills, but like filled with glitter, I guess. Okay. Let me just grab a handful. Of all the plastic. Yummy. There we go. Oop, forgot that. Alright, and now we will be getting the binder out to see if I need to go to my jars or the binder to find this one some extra color. And after I do this, I will trim the plastic around the canvas and then tape it. Okay, 30, 23. 30, 23. Orange jar. Okay. And that will be in the big case. Okay. Put the binder right there for now. Stay. Something I've done on my binder until I can actually, you know, put everything into jars is I highlighted the different DMC codes with different colors so I can better see what I have and where it's located. So, like orange it's in a jar. Blue it's in a bag. Green/pink means that the jar or bag for that color is full. So to start dumping it into the spare jar, or into the overflow jar, and to not hold on to it anymore. And it looks like I do not have any 3023. How close in shade is 3024? That is gray. Where's the jar? Yeah, that's not similar in the slightest. Okay. So I guess when it comes to this color, all I can do is hope for the best and hope I have enough. Because I do not have any 3023. I might be able to ask my friend and see if she has any. But it seems I don't have any. I'll check the binder just in case. I may have put it into a bag on accident, because I have noticed a couple where I've done that. Simply because I didn't realize I had it as a jar, because I managed to overlook it. But we shall, I'm not too hopeful on that one. $30.22. It's empty anyways. It's looking like no. And I don't see any colors that are similar to it. Because it's a brown tan instead of like a pink tan or a green tan and stuff like that. That's vaguely similar. No, that's a different color. I also did this because I cannot tell shades apart for the life of me. So it also makes it slightly easier on me. No. And no. Okay. Yeah. This is one where I have to hope for the best. Sometimes that's really all you can do when you have an oopsie like that. Is hope for the best and hope you have enough. But okay. Funnel to the side. I don't need that anymore. Nor do I need the tray. Go right there for now. Move the phone. Yeah. That in a second. We will go with this one. Because if I have tapes where I've started using them, but I didn't finish them on that canvas, I'll just set them to the side in my toolbox for now. So that way I can use it for anything else later, really. Like, I have this little bit of space tape that I'll probably use on a mini at this point. It looks like I can basically make a little small section with it. This little Halloween tape that just says Diamond Art Club. It'll get used eventually for something. I mean, I do use them, obviously. Just sometimes it takes a second to use them up, especially if I don't put tape down on my jars. But the only time I really do that is if I'm putting stickers down that I already have, like Diamond Art Club. I don't know why I was closing my scissors. Because if I'm using the garage sale stickers, then I have no real reason, really, to put tape down, because they're already non-sticky. Like, they're sticky, but they don't leave a residue on the jars. But if I don't have any garage sale stickers, then I'll use the washi tape itself as one. And just use that as my label. But the garage sale stickers come in a pretty large pack, so it's been a minute since I've had to do that. On these canvases, I do this simply so I don't have to, like, attempt to cut the extra plastic, like the overhang, and the tape when it's going off the edge of the picture. Because I usually just use my X-Acto knife, and that's a little difficult to cut. Like, it's not impossible, but it's a bit of a pain to do like that. So I usually trim it down, so I don't have any overhang plastic. Let me go back over here. Admittedly, it's a little jagged. It is, admittedly. And also looks like I might need to get new scissors soon. These are not cutting the way they used to. Because they keep getting used for other things. Because they are the only scissors I consistently know the location of. Because I put them back every time. But I do that so there's no overhang. And admittedly, when Hobby Lobby first started selling these, for some reason they had it to where the plastic was like stapled with the canvas. Like, the protective sheet was there, and then the plastic like wrapped around and then was stapled with the canvas, which made it very difficult to remove. Like, not too difficult, but like you had to rip it away from the thing, and then you had to like pray you didn't accidentally also get the accidentally use too much force and pull the staple to where you would no longer be able to have it on the canvas. We're gonna try and go. Actually, this one's all straight. I'll actually be able to use my multi-placer on this one. Like, I was able to with the sunflower, but I usually had to, like, twist and curve it a little bit to make sure it actually got on there all the way. And to make sure there wasn't too much, like, it was actually going relatively onto the spot I needed it to be on. Admittedly, that's one of my few gripes with the Hobby Lobby canvases, is that at times they usually curve it for some reason, which is mildly annoying. But they'll curve the picture a little bit to where you can't use a multi-placer, which makes it a teensy annoying when you are having to color block and the color block is curved. That's why for the most part I just use my 4-placer and my single placer. This one though, it looks like I'll be able to actually use my 6-placer at times. I'm not afraid of multi-placing. Like, I quite enjoy it, actually. It's fun, in my opinion. I know some people don't like to do it, but I love it. But the biggest I will go is usually a 9, I think, is the most I'm willing to go, is a 9. After that, it just feels unruly, and even then, I don't care for using the 9 that often. Usually I go with a 6. The 6 multi-placer is my favorite. Well, no, the 4 multi-placer is my favorite, but the 6 is like the biggest I'm willing to work with, essentially. We'll do it more like that, I think. Yeah. There we go. Admittedly, I usually just eyeball my sections, to be honest, which is very easy when it's actually straight like this. Admittedly, that was one of my least favorite things to do on the flower, was trying to tape everything out. Because nothing Okay, I'm probably going to pull those two back a bit, maybe. I think so. Okay, yeah. Pull it back a little bit. So, about there for that one. So pull this one back to a bit more too, and then I'll have to readjust that one. Basically, I try and get most of it taped out, and then I'll readjust the tape lines a little bit, because I'm not very good at gauging how big I need my grid to be until I have like most of it down. And then I'll just take the tape and readjust, which is another reason I like to do the washi tape, because it's so forgiving on decent plastic, at least. For some of the thinner plastics, it's not as nice, but that's only if I get some of the cheaper ones, which now that I have access to basically all the ones on Walmart.com and Hobby Lobby and all that, it's a little easier. And Five Below's starting to get some, which is nice. They're not horrible quality, actually. Because I did one of the Five Below ones for my mother-in-law. Okay, I'm not liking how that section's going to be, so we'll cut the tape for it and rearrange just a little more. But I did one of the Five Below ones for my mother-in-law because I hated how one of the ones that I got from Hobby Lobby came out. It wasn't one of these, it was actually the Thomas Kincaid Rose Art one, I believe. It was one of the Disney themed ones. It was Beauty and the Beast. I despised working on that one. Did not care for how it came out. Because the colors were just not cartoony, but like brighter than they should have been, if that makes sense. And the canvas didn't want to cooperate. It wasn't sticky enough. And then also it was one of the ones where it came with a little wooden frame that you would put together to hang it up with, basically. But the holes are miscut. I think that's good. The holes are miscut, and on the canvas and on the wood itself. So no matter what, you just could not put that thing straight. And it was a partial, and I don't really care for doing partial pictures, because then like half of it's just missing, in my opinion. I'll still work on like diamond dots and stuff, because they still give you a good bit of image, even if it is a partial. But it's still... Okay, that looks relatively straight. Yeah, there we go. Okay. But anyways, I got one of the Five Below ones to redo. It was still, it had an Eiffel Tower on it, because she loves Paris and Beauty and the Beast, obviously. And it came out so much better than the Thomas Kincaid one. So much better. Like, it was so much cheaper in comparison too, because again, it was a Five Below canvas, so it was $5. It was 5 and some change. The Thomas Kincaid one was like 16 and some change, I believe, if I'm remembering correctly. And it just was not worth it, in my opinion. Because it was also almost impossible to read the canvas. Like, you could barely see the symbols. which is not a good thing on a diamond painting, because you kind of need to see the symbols to actually, you know, put the correct thing. But you could barely see the symbols. Like, usually if you can't see the symbols that well, you can get away with, like, using a light pad, and that'll help. But somehow the light pad made it worse. Because they did this weird thing where instead of using an opposing color to contrast the background of the symbol, they used a color lighter. Like the same shade, just lighter. Which made it impossible to actually see it. Anyway, the Five Below ones are actually pretty good. I haven't tried the neon ones yet. I do plan on doing that at some point. Because, I mean, if I can get a pretty good canvas for $5, then I'm not going to be mad in the slightest. And there was a tree one I wanted to do. But anyway, the Five Below canvas one, it was also on its own frame. And they'd, like, printed a frame around the image itself. It was honestly very pretty. I loved it very much. It was a lot easier to work with. It wasn't a nightmare. But, enough of me complaining about a canvas I did a year ago, I think. No. A few months ago. Here is the cottage. It is all gridded out. Relatively straight, as far as I can tell. How many sections did I get out of this one? 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. 15. Okay. So what I'm going to do with this one is I think I'm going to roll my sections with like a D&D dice. But I'm also going to randomize the numbers, I believe. And we're going to use a little sticker. Let me grab the partial sheet first. Little stickers. So 15 sections, 15 numbers. I actually have some dice that'll be perfect for this one. That'll be like nature-y and stuff. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. That one's not going to be 15 because I put the 5 way too close. Okay. Need the stickers to dry just a little bit. But I've rolled my sections before, and I actually enjoyed it a good bit. Because it made it to where I could see how other sections were coming out. Another time that I definitely want to roll my sections is at some point, I do want to try a mystery diamond painting. Like one of the ones where the entire canvas is white, and it only has the symbols, so you don't know what's what, so you can't really see the image. And I want to do one of those, and also use release paper. And then, like, number the papers, so that way I can, like, roll my sections, so I can, like, slowly see how it's coming out. But first, I have to actually commit to getting a mystery one. Probably end up doing after I can get maybe not the rest of the ones from this person's collection, because I only care for most of them and not all of them. But I definitely want to do a mystery section at some point. I just also really prefer one person's art from Diamond Art Club. Okay, let's see. 1, 3. Okay, nope. I was trying to be like other people and place stickers with tweezers, but I cannot get behind that. Put the 2 right there. Put 4 over here. Then we'll take a 15. Put it right there. Put 14 right here. 12 over here. 8 right here. 10 will go right here in the middle. 9 we'll put over here in the corner. I accidentally put that sideways. That's fine. I did not let this dry enough. That's fine. Then we'll put 11 right here. And 13. Gonna move 2. Maybe. Possibly. Come on, buddy. 2. We're gonna move 2. To right here. Put 13 right there. And then 5 is gonna go here. 6 is gonna go up here. 7 will go here. Now 7 and 8 are next to each other. Okay, we're gonna take 8 and move it, and we'll take 12. No, not 12. Let's see. We'll put 11 down here next to 13, because that's not directly next to it. And 8 will go up here in between 1, 4, and 3. Perfect. And now that goes right there. We now have Cottage kitted up, sectioned out, numbers randomized, and then whenever I roll them, I'll do that section. Thank you guys so much for watching my video. I know the conversation was very random throughout the entire thing. Basically, just ran my mouth as I was doing what I love to do. That is essentially how most of my thought process works anyways. And thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys later.